I gotta say, man, right off the bat, Griv has been such a good tool for accountability, and I know that's probably what the game plan was in the first place. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. I feel like way calmer. I'm I'm working out a lot more, so I got to give kudos to you.
I'm glad. I've been seeing your runs and your check-ins with your Whoop data. And it's been, I know you're training for a marathon. I think the first time we spoke, well, not the first time, but one time we spoke, you mentioned that you're training for a marathon. So I was kind of excited for you and wanted you to be a part of Grib.
Yeah, man. Oh, thank you for having me. It's been great. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to know you more on here and hear a little bit more about your story and how that ties into Griv. But maybe for those that don't know about you and the things that you've already shipped out in the past and what your background's like, that'd be great.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Thanks for having me on, Jeff. I'm Igor. I previously co-founded a company in the crypto space. That didn't end up working out, but I failed a ton, learned a ton. Prior to founding that company, I was had a job in finance at an investment firm in New York City on 57th and 7th. And I learned to code kind of on the side on my own. And I went to like a boot camp slash learned, through like tutorials online, whatever was available at the time. Um, and fast forward to most recently, about 3 months ago, I was looking for my next thing, like what I'm going to do. And Farcaster was top of mind. I've always kept an eye on Farcaster, what was going on there. So I jumped in. Um, I had like about 100 followers at the time, so not much distribution or exposure. And I just started getting involved in the community and shipping a lot of mini apps. Um, One after the next, like Tappy was one that some people might recognize that ended up going viral. Ted ended up sharing it, then she shared it with Dan. Dan shared it, and that's kind of how my uh, momentum started in the Farcaster world. So I kept building up a following, went from like 100 followers to 1,500 followers now. Um, Shipped 6 different mini apps, had thousands of users. A lot of them churned. I learned a bunch of different things as I was building. And about a month ago, I had a conversation with my wife, kind of in panic mode. Um, Not sure. Like I have a 4-month-old daughter. I have a family. I have to make some money. So I was just like in panic mode. Like, what am I going to do next? Like, I need to figure stuff out. And just shipping mini apps is not gonna do it. So she said, "Look, I support you 100%, love you, but you need to stop like shipping stuff just to appease what you think other people are going to want to use, and build something for who you are. It'll be much longer lasting." And this is like advice that, if you've sipped the Y Combinator Kool-Aid, like this is stuff that we've read about. We know, like, be your authentic self, build something that's authentic to you. Um, but I guess I just needed to hear it from a different angle, a different person at a different time in my life. And that really struck a chord with me. And that day I went out for my usual run, and the Griv idea was born. I was like, okay, like I'm going to do something in fitness and I'm going to do something in tech because fitness has been a part of my life since I could walk. Um, so the first version was born. It was a simple check-in, as you alluded to, like it's like an accountability app, mini app, and people started using it. People click and check in, and I was like, okay, like people are touching the mini app. That's a good start. And then I added an upload photo feature, which then took off. People love uploading photos, and after that, I knew like the user behavior was there. Like it was a known user behavior, something they were willing to do, and that coupled with social fitness, kind of like gave me the recipe that I needed to like take Griv to sort of next level. Um, yeah, so. There's been a lot of stuff that happened since. It's been moving pretty fast over the last month, and there's a lot of stuff in store. So I'm excited to share that with you guys.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get into it. But backtracking a little bit, I want to also give a shout out to your wife, and that's a pretty special person for her to be able to support someone that's trying to build something. It's really difficult when there's no stability in the household in regards to like work. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean? And
Other stuff,
my wife did the
yeah,
same thing to
I could
me.
lose it.
Yeah, but yeah, right, exactly. And right now my wife was literally like, you're on the phone 24/7 with founders, with VCs, with like these people, and you don't get paid for it. Like, start a freaking podcast. This is insane. And I was like, I don't
Yeah,
want to be a podcast bro. I don't want to like have that on my resume. I'm very selective with like where I post it. And right now, I hardly share it on X. I refuse to do that. I refuse to post it on LinkedIn, like all of those outlets, because one, like I've had 12, this is probably like the 16th episode, right? Like I need momentum before
been
I
on
start
fire.
going out to like you know what I mean? But like
I mean,
I
you've been on
also think
fire
it's
too.
catered to the thank you, dude. No, I appreciate it, but I think it's there's something to be said about having a strong support system and like having a good wife that is able to say or partner. It doesn't need to be your wife,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
whoever. But just having someone in your corner that's like, you need to do this, make it about you. I don't care what the outcome's going to be, but you need to like be able to hang your hat on what you're building and be proud of
yeah.
what you're doing, regardless of who's watching. So, and then the
They know
results
you
show,
best.
right? I mean, exactly right. And but the results are coming in and you're starting to see success. And as you alluded to also, you've been shipping a bunch of stuff prior to Griv. And I think there's a reason why it's resonating right now is because it's authentic and it's something that you're passionate about. And people would, it's interesting. There's a lot of people in the Web3 space that are really fit, that are really athletic, that care about, their mental and physical health, and you always affiliate people that are in tech or used to at least as like the person eating Doritos or Cheetos in their grandmom's basement coding,
Right, right.
and I think that's changed completely in Web3.
Yeah, I think that's very true, especially in the world of crypto, where your mental health is paramount for your success because burnout is around the corner. Um, but a quick note and thank you for giving a shout out to my wife. But my dad always told me that if you were to win one lottery in your life and do one thing right in your life for your, you know, happiness in your life, it just, try to marry the right one. And that was, you know, it. I can't express that enough. I think you alluded to, but it's very important to have a good support system that includes your wife, your family, your friends, whoever you have in your life. I think for all the builders that are listening or whoever is going to listen to this, if you're planning on building something, lean on your support system. That's been super important to me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here today.
For sure. And we're probably dinosaurs compared to the rest of the audience that's on here.
Yeah,
So it's nice to bestow some wisdom on the younger crowd that is considering being entrepreneurial or being, independent outside of, the 9 to 5. You've got to have a good support system around you that understands I'm not going to be working a 9 to 5. It's going to be more like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. And you just got to understand that, I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for my future, our future. That's kind of got to be the mindset for everyone that's involved. It's not just you, but that person that you're with has to be aligned on that. But what I
absolutely.
wanted to ask you prior to all of this was so you worked in finance before starting to code and
Yeah,
starting to build, huh?
yeah,
And
yeah. I
so
worked
what were you doing in that field?
I worked at a company called Strategic Wealth, where they manage a little over $1 billion, maybe probably more now. And it's an RIA, a registered investment advisor. So it's um, kind of where some VCs raise funds from, like their LPs. Um, there I kind of wore a lot of hats there. I was like the right hand man to to Larry, who was the principal and founder. And he was kind of like my mentor and father figure there. Um, I had a really good career trajectory. He was planning to slowly start to figure out ways to transition, and figure out ways to incentivize me to potentially like take over a larger portion of the company. Um, and I did portfolio management. I did client relationships with the high net worth individuals. Managed a few employees and interns, and yeah, just try to do as much as possible to help the business grow. Um, but I've always read every single like founder story, founder book, all the Hacker News articles back in the day. I've had an affinity for building product and founding companies for a long time, and I I just felt inside that it's kind of cheesy, but you're destined for more. You want to build something, but that's kind of how what was burning inside me, and I had to part ways with that career trajectory that was a little bit more stable.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think you'd be here and we'd be talking if that wasn't the case. There's a pretty similar theme among people that I meet, not only on the show but just in general on Farcaster, and they're all destined for, or they believe in themselves enough to like go and do something on their own. Um, I think that's just the spirit of what we're in. So it's definitely relatable. Um, but yeah, did you just kind of have this feeling? Because I have a similar story where I was working at Morgan Stanley. I was doing
Mhm.
private wealth management. I got all my licenses. COVID hits, and I'm stuck in my little apartment in LA. And I'm just like, dude, I do not just want to manage other people's wealth and get a piece of the pie from that and just get like that 1%, fee every year on a small book that I'm building alongside, like, I'm a junior partner of a book. And I'm just like, I'm out. Like, there's so much more out there for me, and I'd rather go fall flat on my face than just be a cog in the wheel.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm still
sounds like
trying
you
to
were
figure
doing
that
something.
out.
Sounds like you were doing something very similar to me. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I uh, Quentin Tarantino had was doing an interview once, and he was when he was younger, he worked at like some
The
video store,
Blockbuster,
yeah,
yeah,
Blockbuster, or some
like
and
something
something
equivalent.
equivalent to like a local Blockbuster. And at a very young age, he told himself that um, if I think at a very young age, he told himself that if he was to make money doing something, it should be in the field that he loves, and until then, he shouldn't make any money. So like he he rather work like as a busboy than go and get like a finance job, for example, and like make a decent salary. Like he rather have pain in front of him and struggle in a direction that's not meant for him than like an easy path. Not necessarily that finance is easy, but meaning that like it's a little bit clearer and the steps are there and like the playbook is written. And that also really, kind of resonated with me. It's just at some point you have to pull the trigger and say like, I shouldn't have success until I am doing something that is my own, that's meant for me. Like, because until you find that, you can't be the best in the world at it. I can't hear you, by the way. Maybe it's me. I lost your audio. Uh,
Can you hear me?
yep, I got you.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what I was saying though is, looking at the path and the comparable to Quentin Tarantino and what he was saying, I think you've got to have a skill set and you've got to have tools to go do something that you want. You can't
Hmm.
just, well, I mean, you can. You could just be a bull in a china shop and kind of figure it out as you go. But when I was in school, I was like, all right, I have no idea what I want to do, like most people. But I was like, what's translatable into almost anything? And that's having a business understanding. So I went and got a business degree that makes you take finance classes, communications classes, marketing, accounting, etc. And then I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, these are things that are applicable. But the reality is like I wanted to be a leader, I wanted to be a builder, I wanted to do something on my own. How am I going to get there? Well, I don't even know what I want to build yet, so might as well do this. And I think finance was, and I think you can agree with this since you did it as well, but finance is a language that most people can't speak. And there's just as important as computer engineers and developers that know code and know the difference between Python and C++ and JavaScript and all of those things. Like I can't speak to that, but if you were to like show me balance sheets and income statements and you know cap tables and term sheets, I can speak that language. So that's a
Yeah.
skill set and an attribute that I can bring, right? And then I can learn the rest along the way. And I think that's what you're seeing in crypto and Web3 is you're seeing like all of these tools and skill sets merge into one because that's what it's asking for. You have the tech component, you have the like finance component with DeFi. I mean, DeFi is basically everything in Web3 now. Everyone has this like derivative or underlying component to what they're building, which is either rewarding your end users with asset like a currency or a form of payment, or there's just such a larger attachment or need compared to anything else that we've seen. So I think for you it's like going back to your initial point, you had to have those experiences and those lessons um, to lead you to like being a builder today.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the combination of skills that it takes to get something off the ground, um, you just have to do it all. Between and I'm in very early stages, but Griv was created through Cursor, which is you know um, uses LLM models, large language models. People have been coding with them for a little while now, but it's remarkable how powerful they've become and how good they've become. And every single one of my mini apps was, vibe coded. And I don't think at any other part or any other time in the world would I have been able to do that except for now, because I do have an engineering background, but I'm a mediocre engineer at best. I could get stuck in syntax for days. But because of Cursor, uh, and my understanding of how the engineering components should behave together, I'm able to prompt and move the pieces around to deploy and ship to production, within a day, essentially. Um, and the feedback loop for a builder is the only thing that they have for for a reward. You ship something, and if it's going out into the void, you don't want to ship it again. But what's fascinating with Farcaster is when you combine the MVP ship in a day via Cursor, and then you launch it as a mini app on Farcaster, that loop is shortened from months to days, if not hours. And you can vibe code something, get it to the hands of users, all within a 24-hour clip. And I don't think that's ever happened or been done in any pocket of the internet. And that's why I think Farcaster is so special and why I've been so attracted to it. And I mean, enthralled by it, really. It's like it became an obsession to ship mini apps. Uh, and I hope that more builders and users come to Farcaster so they could experience this flywheel that doesn't have a token in between. Nobody's giving anybody a token for this. It's purely on the dopamine of the relationship between the shipper and the user. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree completely. I don't know how many months or years, how long have you been on Farcaster?
I signed up probably a little while ago, but I've only became active about 3 months ago. So I've
Yeah,
been on
same here.
Farcaster
I
for three
mean,
months. I think you
yeah,
and I
that's
both kind of started our
I
journeys.
signed up.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I signed up mid-April of this year. It's July 2nd right now. So around 2.5 months. And it's been warp speed. The amount of movement, the amount of people that you're able to connect with, and it's crazy. But it's like if you provide value, if you're bringing something more than just slop, and even if it is slop, it's something that resonates with people. You're going to build an audience and you're going to get attention. And I just don't
Yeah,
think that you can get the same thing. I say this on almost every episode that I do, but it's like you're not going to get the same feedback. You're not going to get the same stickiness if you're really trying to build something on any other platform. I really believe that. I know that there's some disagreements on that, and people are like, it's impossible to build an audience, blah blah blah. I mean, I get it. Like some people get a lucky break and are able to go viral, and maybe it's because you're doing stuff though, right? Like it's because you're
yeah,
saying something that resonates. You just got to keep doing that until it clicks. But yeah, it's really fascinating, and the enthrallment is shared. Where I mean, that's what has motivated me to keep going and do this podcast. And the hope is that more shippers and builders and developers are going to make their way here. And that's the bet. I mean, like, I'm
yeah,
all in on Farcaster because I believe the platform and the flywheel that has been developed is going to do something that is really different. Like the VC model, the investment like model of how traditional finance works. I think it puts, if this actually does attract the new developers like it's intending to, you're going to see a completely different model. Like imagine the thought of VCs getting in so early on MVPs. That like goes against their model completely. They are so used to later stage investments, later stage in the sense of like seed to series A. That's where VCs are, that's their risk tolerance, right? And we're building something so early but proving it out. Like for you, for example, with Griv, not like I don't know if you want to talk about the metrics of like what Griv has been able to accomplish so far, but to our like side conversations, personal conversations, like you're getting a ton of daily active users, you're getting a ton of retention, like you're getting all of these things that are provable and that can be showcased if you did want to go raise capital. And that hasn't, like, this early of a stage to get those types of metrics is just, it's not common.
yeah. I think you're 100% right. I mean, it's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm starting to have conversations with VCs, and I'm starting to show the metrics, and the kind of proof is in the pudding. eh, Everyone knows they're taking a risk at a seed stage. They buy the idea, they buy the founder. But if you could add a slide of metrics to that and say, hey, here's the sandbox I've been playing in. I know it's not the world, but it's kind of a representation of the world. And if I could show you this, just think about what I could do when I repeat it in the real world. And not to say that the forecast is not the real world, but I think the analogy stands. Um, so you're 100% right. It's exactly what I'm doing. And um, in the course of Griv launched 1 month ago, like uh, they're yeah, it's insane. I personally,
It's
as a
it's
builder, never had.
insane because it's like sorry to cut you off, but it's like even our like one-on-one conversations, Igor, where it's like, don't worry about the UI, don't worry about if it's pretty or not. Build the foundation, like get the core things like done right and build that out right. People are going to use it. Like
Yeah,
there's so much. You've been doing this for a month. There are so many improvements that you already have in mind, but being able to prioritize what matters right now to drive, like to move the needle, it's just really, I mean, this is such cool feedback and advice. And it gets me excited because I think this is going to be replicated like a ton.
yeah. Like the once again going back to what we spoke about earlier is the combination of shipping MVPs fast with Cursor, getting distribution on Farcaster, and instead of wasting your time creating a pretty Figma and a walkthrough, um, you know, uh, uh, a walkthrough. Um, what geez, the name escapes me, but like when you're doing
User
UX
journey, like
interviews, like a user
Yeah.
journey, yeah, like a user journey, a prototype. Just looking for prototype. But like that's what I used to do. I used to like design prototypes, and in Figma, I would create like clickable icons or buttons that would take you to the next Figma slide. And I would schedule an interview with a user, get them on for 15 to 30 minutes, and say, hey, like walk through this. And they're like, okay, like I click this, what now? And then it'll be like, well, I don't want to tell you anything. I kind of want you to get through it yourself. Like I want to try to take myself out of the equation so I don't get mixed signals or ask the wrong questions or pour in my own biases. So like this changes the game completely. Forget prying with questions where like you're not going to get a good answer. Just observe the user behavior. Like launch something and see how people use it, and that will give you the best uh, data on like how to iterate forward. Because a lot of times you get a lot of, and not a lot of times, most times you get mixed signals from your own questions and your own interviews. So, yeah, the world's definitely changed in terms of MVPs. And I think the renaissance of building is upon us. And I think it stands in complete opposition to all the people who are looking at AI and saying, you know what, it's going to take over all our jobs. We're going to have nothing to do. No, like the creativity boom is right around the corner. You have no idea how, the Cambrian explosion of young founders, and actually all age founders who are going to be using these tools to create their own experiences and products and companies. It's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen.
I agree. And I think on that note, I go back and forth with it still. I do think AI is going to start replacing jobs. I think that we're already seeing it happen. And I think as AI gets more advanced, you're going to see more white collar jobs get replaced.
Mhm.
So I think, and this is just my opinion, I could be totally wrong here, but I think sales jobs, marketing jobs. I mean, if you're seeing graphic designers and computer engineers, if you just saw, I believe Salesforce just got rid of 30% of their workforce, and primarily it was engineers. It was their back end engineers that they cut. And it's like
Yeah,
if those specialty, skill set jobs are getting replaced, that just means that sales and marketing are getting replaced. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean, and it could mean that means we go to a UBI model where everyone's on universal base income. But
yeah,
yeah, that's to protect. But what that means though, simultaneously, if it forces you, if you want a better life, it's to understand how to use the tech and the tools that are being offered to you. It's forcing you to be creative in a way. I don't know if that's by
exactly.
design or not, but to your point, if you want to be successful, use your brain, use the skills and or use the tools that are in front of you. They're accessible to everyone now, and you just got to find a niche in a market. I know that
They're all
sounds
going to
way
have one
easier than it
choice.
really is, but you're exactly do something or you're going to be left behind.
Yeah. Either you lose your job, you either jump off a bridge or you use the tools and create something new. Like you only have two choices. Like
Damn, that's
you're not
dark,
going
but yeah.
anywhere. No, I'm just saying like it's dark, but there, in the most extreme sense, people will.
Oh no, did we lose him?
Let's see. I think I lost here.
All right, let's pause right here and get Igor back on. Hold on one sec. Yeah, we're recording. We're good.
Yeah, I think we're back on.
Yeah, Riverside didn't like that, but no. So anyway,
Okay.
just going back
Yeah.
on
And cut
subject,
him
just
off.
about AI and what it's causing us to do. I think it's to your point, it needs to be looked at as a positive. It's allowing us to have the ability to build something on our own. I mean, not in a million years would I even be able to start, coding anything. I have no background in it, but from you and Jordan and other people that are out there that have encouraged me, dude, I have a cursor account. I was using Replit. I figured out that Replit is inferior to other products out there. So now I'm on Cursor, and yeah, I think you just got to it's trial by fire and figure out what you got to do, and if you really want it, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Like and we're going to see more and more of that as the tools get better and better. Um, but yeah, it's been quite a journey. Um, I'm looking forward. So I made an announcement. I forget how long ago, maybe a few days ago or a
Nice.
week ago, that
I have
I'm going
no
to be
idea what
working with Builder's
Builder's
Garden.
Garden is.
So Limone, yeah. So Limone and the team over at Builder's Garden with Frank and Matteo and all the guys there. They're out of Italy. They've been on Farcaster for a very long
Nice.
time. So you might see them some of their mini apps. Farville is their mini app. And they've built
I know acid test for sure.
Acid Test, or right? Yeah. So they were the dev and design shop behind it, and they've built a number of other top app mini app experiences. And they're uh, they have an incredible product sense, especially within the ecosystem of Farcaster, and that includes like understanding leaderboards really well, understanding shareable moments really well, leveraging the Farcaster social graph correctly. Um, so I got Griv to the MVP stage where I figured out what the core user actions are, and now I need help. I'm I'm kind of running 24/7, answering DMs, like creating content, recruiting quality users. Um, so like now starting to think about reaching out to VCs, having conversations there, looking to move into raising a pre-seed. Um, and so they started this last Monday, and the next version of Griv is going to be, in my opinion, a 10x improvement. There's not going to be any like extra features added. It's actually going to be boiled down to an even simpler version with a single core action, which um, puts the camera front and center of the app, and uses it as a seamless check-in, whether through photo or video. And it's going to be camera centric. And then the second part of it, the leaderboard, is going to have a lot of improvements in terms of the point system and streaks
Got it.
for more
So
competitiveness and
is
more
go
virality.
so is Builder's Garden or Builder
And
Garden
yeah,
is it essentially an incubator?
it's not an incubator. Mm, they did do Just Frame It recently, which was, I guess, sort of like acting like an incubator, but the way I'm working with them is essentially like a dev shop or like a design shop, a studio, a product studio, where they have guys that know design, guys that know engineering, and they kind of put their skill sets
So
together
what's
to
been the
deliver
biggest
great
lift
product
on
experiences
your
for mini
schedule
apps.
um, when it comes to just okay, MVP's built, it's now out there for the public. Now you're actually operating and running the thing. What do you think, in your opinion, has been the most challenging time management component of being a founder now that your MVP's out there?
Yeah, I think so. When I was building the MVP, it was just a lot of like late nights and in my head activity. Like I would just code for, I mean, if my wife didn't pull me off the computer, I was there like 18 hours a day. It was just nonstop. Um, and I just couldn't wait to get it out. Like I'm very obsessive in that respect. Um, and um, ever since like once I launched the MVP and the usage started to pick up and I knew I needed help, I stopped shipping like new features because I didn't want to create a mess in the code base because I knew the guys would have to like reorganize everything, set everything up. I didn't. I didn't even have a dev environment, meaning like a staging environment. I was pushing everything to production, even after I had like over 100 users. Even that, like I was like launching new features, hoping that I wouldn't fuck something up beyond repair, where like the user experience would be ruined for like several days if I couldn't figure out how to fix it. So
Clean it up,
so I
just
just needed
organize.
like
Yeah.
someone to come in and set up everything, clean it up, organize, and obviously the product side of things. I think they're second to none in my opinion on Farcaster of like building great mini apps. But yeah, so like the biggest change was just always being on, like always like talking to users. A lot of people are in New York City that are out and about that are on Farcaster. So trying to find and go to all those events. I hung out with the Noise Boys yesterday. Fortuitously, I went to Monad's office. Alex invited me, who's the head of who's in either the head of the ecosystem or has a role there. And I was hanging out, just kind of working
They're on their
remotely, and I
little
saw
world tour
Viv
right
and
now, aren't they?
Frijan
Holy
and
shit, they're
TK,
everywhere. They were
and
just in LA like a couple of weeks ago.
they're on a world tour. Yeah, yeah. And speaking to Viv, and they
Yeah.
also want to get back home and like just go back into their hacker house and just like ship product, right? Because you can't do both. You can't be on a world tour and shipping product effectively. So like, um, and they're like some of the most thoughtful founders I've met. Like the way that they detail like each stage of their growth phase. I mean, they're and manage to keep it loose and
Dude,
week to
TK,
week.
I spoke to the other
I've got a
day,
lot of really good
and
advice from them as
to
well.
give you, like, I was gonna have
Um,
him on the show, and then he was like, "Yeah, let's get on a call," and I wasn't even thinking. Sometimes you're just not considerate of time differences, and I was like, "All right, send me your Calendly. Let's get on a chat." And it was like 6 p.m. my time, and I was talking to him. I'm like, "Hey man, like, yeah, do you want to do this recording?" He's like, "Well, like, honestly, Jeff, it's 3 in the morning my time. I'm pretty beat." I'm like, "These guys are fucking crazy," but yeah, no, it's unbelievable what those guys are doing
yeah. No,
for sure.
they've got the it
The
factor.
marketing and advertising
They've
that
got a
they've
lot
been
of
doing
swag too
too,
for
their little
themselves.
short clips and videos have been
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, they gave me a lot of really good advice around that. Just like being more absurd, being more controversial, like content. Like you need to be like the voice box, like the microphone of your brand and your company and your product. Nobody else is going to do it, and if you don't do it right, nobody's going to hear you. And product is really important, and there's always been a conversation between like what's more important, product or marketing, and it's just like the simple answer is just fucking both. Like you just can't like go, yes, if you're great at marketing, you have a shit product, it's not going to work. If you have a great product and nobody fucking knows about it, it's not going to work. Like you just have to know how to do multiple things
I
really
think if
really
you're a
well.
user,
Like
this is the thing, like,
there's no
if
question
you
about that.
love video games, right, and you play all fucking day, and you don't know the back end of how to build that video game, it's applicable to anything, an app, a video, whatever. But like you understand as a consumer what the like voice is that's needed to advertise for that thing. So for your point, like for the thing that you're building right now, you're an athlete, you are a trainer, you work your ass off like frequently. So what you know how to be marketed to because it's your product, but also you know how to use it. Like you want to use that product. So what's the
I
voice
mean,
that you need
yeah.
to hear in order to get you to use that product, right? So I think to your point, yeah, like it's just both, but in order to be good at both, going back to your wife, do something that's for you. Like,
For you, yeah, it's much easier because then you don't have to find. Okay, like if I was doing like uh I don't know, biotech sales or a biotech company, and that wasn't like I don't know, that wasn't like part of my DNA. I would be like, okay, like how do I get like some guy to come in and figure out how to market this or uh figure it out for
yeah,
me?
but there's too much of
I
a
gotta plug my
disconnect
laptop in because it's gonna die.
if it's not your thing and it's not your passion. And I think that one way or another, it's going to be exposed. It's funny you say biotech. Like my first job when I was before I went to Morgan, I was working for a merchant bank that was doing private placements for biotech and pharma. And like there was no passion behind it. I was smiling and dialing, calling high net worth people, trying to get them to buy, shares of these private placements. And, they didn't give a shit and I didn't give a shit. And it kind of like came out that way, whether it was intended or not. So if you're passionate about something, I think it's a little bit easier to market it, right?
Yeah, sorry, one sec. I'm
No, you're good.
I just transitioned to a different camera because my battery's about to die.
No, you're good.
How do I do this? Okay, here we go. Uh, wait.
I like that
So
logo. What's that?
I don't even know what that is. FaceTime camera. How come I can't do a FaceTime camera now? Uh, what did I do here? Um,
Here, I'll pause it. No, you were like clear. It was like
it was like
4K.
a
Is it a
wide
4K camera?
camera.
It was. It was
Not sure. It's a
clean, my
Logitech.
boy.
But yeah, this is yeah, this one is my Mac. But I have to like plug in something in the place of my USB-C
Yeah, no,
cable,
no, no, you're
so
good.
I can't
But
charge at the same
what
time.
was gonna? What were we
I'll figure
talking
it out later.
about? Oh, marketing and the importance of marketing and product. But like, yeah, to your point, you got to be good
Um,
at both. Passion's going to drive both of them, and that's felt and heard by your audience, right? If you do not give a shit about a thing that you're building, it's even if you're faking the energy, it's still subliminally felt.
It's going to show eventually. Yeah, it's going to it's subliminally felt, and you'll be exhausted from trying to show that extra energy for something that's not yours. And I've got the scar tissue to prove it. I've done it before, and it's you could you could rally your enthusiasm for the challenge of building something like that's its own like enthusiasm and energy, but that candle can burn out much faster and easier than your own like true self, like what you who you are, how you walk and talk normally throughout the day, and what you're passionate about, what you do. If you're building something in that area that's close to you, your candle burns
Absolutely.
a lot slower. Um, yeah, man, it's yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like the next phase of Griv, it should be, I'm hoping within the next like 3 weeks, we'll have the new version that's in production and in the hands of users. Uh, and I'm likely going to get a 7-day feature by the Farcaster team, which should, drive more usage at the right time to Griv. Um, I was offered it, but I wanted to hold off on the feature because I wanted to get the mini app to a better place in terms of product, a more refined place. So that's where Builder's Garden came in, and the trajectory. I had to do this for my pitch deck, but I did it really for myself. Phase one is um, phase one is the Farcaster phase, right? You have the mini app. It's going to be refined. It's going to get like the goal is that the mind share for fitness is Griv. Like all anyone who's into fitness should be on Griv when it comes to Farcaster. Then phase two, we have Coinbase Wallet. I don't know what they're going to call it, but that has a lot of distribution. I don't know how sticky that distribution is yet, but um, that would be phase two. They're going to
And that's
focus on
happening
vertical
on
video,
Farcaster as well,
and
right?
we'll be
I
ready
know.
for that as
So you're
well.
saying Coinbase Wallet's doing that, but it sounds like Dan and V are like prioritizing that too.
Yeah, they're also prioritizing vertical photos and vertical videos to make them more adaptable to the text feed. Um, from what if you have the Coinbase Wallet beta, there's like a separate tab that if you click into it, it's just like um, floor to ceiling video, similar to TikTok. Um, So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because you have you have two teams in Farcaster, those that like love the text feed and say, hey, like if I wanted to scroll TikTok, I would be scrolling TikTok. which to me makes sense. But I think that's where the power of Farcaster protocol and Snapchain come into play, and front end clients, whether it's Griv or other clients, can exist. Like we go from mini app to iOS, Android app, which serves as the front end client that is built atop the Farcaster protocol. Um, I don't know what the core team, like what their, I know that it's part of their vision, but I don't know what the priority is of like helping mini apps evolve into front end clients, because that's important. Like you need that
They
support,
want their
but
builders
I
to
hope
like
it's
scale,
there
right? Like I would
because
hope that's the
um
intention here. So curious
yeah.
from your take on this. It's and this is where my mind kind of gets. I'm kind of in circles about this, but Farcaster as its own application, Coinbase Wallet as its own application, sounds like they're competitors, but they're not. I know that the Merkle team really did spin off of Coinbase, but like, and I know they work really closely together, but isn't the development of Coinbase Wallet and serving as this like social app, isn't that kind of taking people away from Farcaster, or isn't that a competition in market share? Like, what is that in your opinion?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to look at it from a user standpoint. Like whatever, look, we're all here to grow the pie, but the reality of the user behavior is objective. Um, and that is that you have to open up two different iOS apps. That's the core of it all. Like that's the initial like launch of your experience, clicking two different icons. So like I do believe people will click both, and they do click both now, and they share stuff on Coinbase Wallet and they share stuff on Farcaster. But you don't have two Instagrams or two TikToks, and the experience needs to be different. And I think that's what they're working on. I think they are working on two separate experiences that both make sense, and they both have phenomenal teams that drive them. But they are competing for time spent, as every app is competing for. So in that sense, that there is that like sense of competition, which is fine. It's healthy. Like, um, but and but that's why I really the way I understand Farcaster protocol is that the future uh, is permissionless, and the protocol and data is available to all builders. Therefore, before Farcaster merged in terms of branding with Warpcast,
Totally.
um, eh, and I think they did the right thing by concentrating it and making it much cleaner. But I still see a world where you have multiple clients atop the Farcaster protocol that are perhaps going after different audiences, but are kind of auto cross posting, um, where the experience to view the content is better for some on one client versus the other. So, like in an example of Coinbase Wallet, I think what they're doing is they're hoping to prioritize like video, and hoping that that experience is better there. So therefore, people scroll there more often.
No, that's interesting, and
Um,
because I didn't know,
but
and
we'll
it's
see how it
it's
plays
nice
out.
clarity from your end, because that's how I was thinking. Where you know, if Coinbase, Merkle, if they kind of corner the market and say, look, if Instagram and Meta, like, they've served this purpose, and then if Farcaster does a similar approach where they're like, we have essentially like the Web3 Twitter when you look at what Farcaster is right now. But hey, like, we're and this is the thing with
Mhm.
X,
Yeah.
like, they still have the vertical scrolling, and you could still scroll and get lost in the sauce on that. I do plenty. I don't even have Instagram or TikTok or anything, but I scroll plenty on X, or used to rather. And if Farcaster were to add that feature, I could be on it all day. But I don't think that that's
Hmm.
too. It's not like Instagram doesn't have any users anymore because X is offering that option. So yeah, no, I think you're right on the money.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. this once Farcaster gets the sign up fee to 20 cents and uh, creates clear support and perhaps even better documentation, whether using Nanar or other infrastructure for building the front end clients, where a mini app could evolve into a full fledged iOS or Android app, and that app will subsidize the 20 cents. Like it's 20 cents. I could put $10,000 and like subsidize 50, what is it, 50,000, 500,000 users. So I don't know if my math is right. But just subsidize a lot of users, and let the clients bring the users in for Farcaster. Like that's what they're trying to solve for right now themselves, and it's very difficult to let that go, like um to trust another team to do that for them, because they're the best in the game at doing it themselves. They've been doing it for 5 years, and they know how difficult it is to build a front end client, how difficult it is to manage spam, how difficult it is to monitor the platform and the front end client. So like in their heads, I imagine they're
Yeah.
like, okay, like I know a
And
lot of people want to be a
do you
front end
think that
client,
that would
but it's
hurt
fucking
the
hard.
protocol
And like,
itself if they
um,
like start opening it up and like encouraging more people to be the front end client? It is
I think
open,
it's
but
so I
you know
think
what I'm
it's
saying though,
fully
like
open.
because
Like I do
if they were
believe
to
that.
start building
It-
other, Farcaster app equivalents, like what is that user experience going to be like on the Farcaster protocol? Because it's hard as shit, to your point, and they've kind of mastered that craft because they also do have a 5 year head start on building on the graph. So it's like that's the point that I'm getting at.
yeah, 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 yeah. It, I'm still like I'm curious because, and this is probably a conversation that at some point I'd love to have with the core team at Farcaster. Is just like, what is the ultimate vision? Because in order to realize it, like if you're gonna support front end clients, there needs to be two things. One is like the evolution of a mini app to a front end client, and that means like a founder builds a mini app, gets really good usage, then raises funds, because you need funds to build a front end client. It's expensive. I imagine it's a seed round. That's like, you have to raise a few $1 million, like nothing less, to actually build an effective client. Um, and then there's the other component, which is the two-way street between the new front-end client and the Farcaster app. Is like, how do the cross posts look, right? Like they don't need to look the same, but they need to have some kind
Yeah,
of
how do they integrate? I agree.
harmony. Um, so uh, yeah, yeah. So those questions need to be answered. If the future is kind of like everything's built atop the Farcaster protocol, like Instagrams, TikToks, Snapchats, Twitters, and they are the foundational layer. Um, to me, that future is exciting. It's a very difficult future, but yeah, I definitely want to. I'm going to, I mean, that's what I'm going for. So
Totally.
I'm going to be testing to see
Yeah,
if it's possible
that's got to be the goal, right? Because then where does
with
that?
Griv.
Because for the Farcaster protocol, the goal is to keep everyone sticky. And if you're building a platform that's for devs and you're saying, "Hey, build your mini app on our front end app," essentially right now, yeah, it's on the social graph, but like really, it exists in the front end app that they've developed. So, are you gatekeeping it where you really don't want them to scale up and out? Or are you open, are you truly open source, and are you open ended where it's like, oh, I can scale up and you're giving me this platform to
Exactly.
grow and still exist on that social graph? I'm with you. And that hopefully is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dude,
I,
absolutely. As we
I
all
play
should. If
nice in
we
the
want to grow
sandbox,
and
but I
build
get
something
antsy.
like truly impactful, you got to reach a bigger audience at some point. Um,
Yeah. And I do believe like it's such a, it's a more inviting future, like a more exciting future to be able to just like tap the world talent and build atop this like Farcaster protocol, and all of us are experimenting and doing different
The old
things.
model.
It's far more exciting than going back to the, the old model. Whether like there's like different ways to centralize. There's centralization of like the way you build the tech, and there's centralization of the way you treat experiences, or like how the teams look and think about things. Like people forget that everything disappears kind of like if the core team moves in a different direction.
Right.
Like
So my question,
things
this
are still
is
operated by
ADD
people.
mode, and this just has been on the back of my mind. What is the model that Griv is taking on generating revenue? What is, because it's like it doesn't cost me a dime to go post a photo on the app. Like what? So
Mhm.
what is the? How are you going to make money?
Yeah, so um, there are a few ways. It's a little bit far from the monetization phase. There's still once and if the front end client is realized, which is an iOS app, Android app, it will give me the ability to deploy a go-to-market strategy, which I've dubbed gym to gym, which is reminiscent of Facebook's college to college model. Barry's Bootcamp, Equinox, whatever trending gyms there are. There, I'll bring Griff to the real world. Like crypto will be in the real world without anybody knowing it, and um, so that's the go-to-market. As in the next growth phase. A little bit far from that right now, but in terms of monetization, it would probably happen in a few ways. It would always happen in a very like deliberate testing mode, like meaning like I will try different things as we're growing. One thing is drops, like exclusive merch drops. I'm not. I don't think I want to give out merch. I think I want to create quality merch and sell it. Um, I don't know if that's going to work out longer term as a strong revenue stream, but there's been some users that are talking about Griv merch already. Whether that's quality workout t-shirts or quality
Well, if
running
you're
sneakers
familiar
or
with
whatever. it's
Gymshark,
it's a huge
they
lift to do that.
absolutely dominated
um
that over the past couple of years. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing a merch like revenue route. And I think attaching it to the app itself is very unique.
yeah, yeah, I'm staying super flexible on that idea because there's only so many things you could do well at once. But uh if in the future there is a designer that's dope and he wants to share 50% of the revenue, and I have enough of a dent in the world at that time and enough of traction for it to make sense for that designer, then the collabs maybe will come from that. But
Down the road,
that's a little
I
bit.
think, well, from someone
I got to
that uses
survive
it and
to
someone that's
get
really
there for
excited
now.
about it, what you're doing is providing a community of like minded individuals. You're capturing that target audience, you're bringing them all under one roof. And I think that that's worth something in itself as a user, right? Um, so I'm not opposed, and I don't know if you've thought about this or if this is in the cards, but a monthly subscription and just paying, I don't know what that number would be, but I think if there is, rewards that come of it for being at the top of the leaderboard, for having challenges that are involved, and there is some sort of payout, I'm fine with throwing 5, 10, 15, depending on the tiered status. I've no problem with doing that, because what you're doing again is you're
Yeah,
providing accountability, which is super important for anyone that's working out. You can't do it alone. It's really hard to have the mental fortitude to do it by yourself. Obviously, you have to be the one to pick yourself up and go do it. But when you have support groups and support systems, which are
yeah,
somewhat difficult to find, Grift provides that. So yeah, I think that's worth money. To not to underplay the value of what Griv is.
yeah.
I think that's I would be willing to do that for whatever that's worth. Yeah.
As a user, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a lot more thought over the next several months,
Because you
start
gotta
to like
make,
think
but
of
you gotta
ways.
make money, dude. You know what I mean?
Things
Like you
things
gotta
change on the
find ways
fly. I
of
think.
consistent revenue stream, and that's hard because you just want to build a really
Yeah,
good product and you want people to use it, enjoy it, whatever. But at the end of the day, in order to keep the lights on, to pay for the overhead, to like cover expenses, you've got to get paid, right? Including yourself. So there's nothing wrong. Not to,
yeah, yeah.
sorry if this is not where you thought conversation was going, but like I do think it's important to like recognize the value that you're providing and not
No,
be
yeah,
afraid
yeah,
to like say, dude, like I'm building you a community. I've provided the platform. If you want to be in, there's value that's here.
yeah,
So just food for thought.
for sure. Yeah, I definitely have to think on this a little bit more. Um, but I'm excited because what you said about community is really core to what Griv is about. I mean, uh, this morning I shared a story of one of our users. His name is Mark, and uh, I think it was like last week, 4 days ago. He ran
Holy shit.
a last man standing marathon. So they just go in circles around some kind of track, um, and it's the last man standing. And he ran for uh, uh,
Straight.
28.4 hours, almost
What
29
the
hours
fuck? That is
straight without
insane.
stopping. And he posted
Holy
his results on
shit, dude. How
Griv.
many
Yeah.
miles did he run?
So I think he ran 100 and let me see, 100 and 178 kilometers.
Oh, I gotta look that
178
up. Hold on.
kilometers.
What is that?
Like was it roughly two? So
110
is it
miles.
90
110
miles?
miles, dude.
More, 110 miles. I That's like my
100%.
when I
That's
drive out
insane.
to like upstate or
Okay, good for
something. Yeah.
Mark. Shout out to
Um,
Mark. That's unbelievable.
uh,
Yeah, but it's shit like that,
yes.
man. And
Shout out
on
to
other
Mark.
cases, dude,
Shout out
my
to
fat
Mark.
ass, I'm
He
25 pounds overweight. And I'm like, I don't really give a shit. But dude, you just kept DMing and saying, dude, just fucking do some push ups. I'm like, all right, I'll do some push ups. And then you got me putting videos up. I would
Yeah.
never put that stuff up. And then I'm like, you know what? And I got to say, like, it's a testament to you too
Momentum.
um, and your belief in what you're building, but also like encouraging others to get on it, dude. I absolutely applaud it. And yeah, man.
There's a good combination of like almost like superstar everyday athletes and people who are in the Griff community who are losing weight, like who are like just excited by the community and like are rubbing off on this, one of the key things that I believe in, that like Peter Thiel has this thing where like you should believe something that's contradictory to what everyone else believes. And a lot of the people that are building now like apps within the fitness space, they're focused on tracking performance via metrics. So plugging into your Whoop and stuff like that. And I had the option of doing that, but I firmly believe that people don't need to compare how many steps they took against each other. They just want to um, show that they did it and see that other people are doing it and be in that community and that um, momentum with other
No,
people.
you gave me the aha moment,
And
man.
then
And
I
then
think you
yeah, to
shared an
your point,
article
I
with
did
me.
share that article with you.
Like there's this almost like tiredness and exhaustion that's coming from like monitoring every metric. It's like I get it. When I fucking have 3 beers, I wake up with a headache. Um, but what's really cool is the community. What's really cool are the people that you see run 28 hours straight. What's really cool is when you see someone that was 280 pounds and is 185 now, and they're running up the hill. Like what is really cool is the girl out of Stanford who's on the basketball team, who's like hustling while studying and still working out and keeping our mental clarity. Those stories and those shareable moments and being in that community is what's special. And it's what's
And
happening
think
on
about,
Griv.
dude,
And it's not,
I initially started to
we're
cut you
not
off, but
comparing
initially
steps
my
here. We're built,
mindset
yeah.
was trapped in that, matrix of what you were describing prior to, of being like, the only way I can earn is if I pay someone. I'm not going to beat the dude that's doing 110 miles for 28 hours. Like, I got no shot of, but where you level the playing field is if you do your shit, if you're outside and you're active, if you post, even if I don't want to take a gym selfie, I can still put, um, I can still put the stats on my Whoop and still get points. And so you've leveled the playing field where it is truly about community accountability of just doing shit. And I think that's where it's really unique in the approach, is you're taking the contrarian, approach here and saying, fuck what everyone else is doing. Like, what? You're just going to compare steps. Well, that's going to discourage other people that may be at a different part of their journey. I'm not going to compare. I can't go step for step with a dude that's running for 28 hours, right? So
Yeah. I just realized that I
yeah,
haven't even given the overview of, like, for anyone who has never used Griv. Uh, so Griv is social fitness. People upload photos as their form of check-in, which gets shared onto the Farcaster social graph and your normal feed. But in the process of doing that, Griff sends that photo to OpenAI's Vision 4.0 model, which scans the photo and assigns points based on categories: gym selfie, swimming, yoga, running, whatever the category is. It has a point system, and that point system ranks you on a leaderboard so you compete and have fun with your fellow Grivers. Um, and that's kind of the summary of it. The big difference, what we were just discussing with Jeff, is that it's not connecting any of your devices. You could upload a photo. We have users uploading photos from Strava, from Whoop, from Apple Health, from Samsung Health, from every device that they have. They just screenshot it and upload it, and Griv recognizes it as a simple category of fitness data, which gives you points. Some people like to show themselves off in the gym via gym selfie. If that's your bag. um, I post a lot of stuff myself of me sweating bullets on my runs and lifting and whatever, and even kickboxing. I'm an amateur kickboxer back in my youth. Um, so yeah, it's really, you could post anything and get points, be part of the community, and rank up
that
the
I'm
leaderboard.
that's my
Um,
bad for an hour
yeah.
in being like, oh yeah, by the way, what's Griff? But no, I just dude, I just assume everyone knows it.
We could figure
But
out.
thank you for the clarity on what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think one of the things, just to your point, is I was stuck in that mindset of like, when are you going to be able to attach wearables? I DM'd you, or DC'd you rather, multiple times, just being like, all right, I'll use it, but when is this happening? When is this happening? And you're kind of like, every time I'd ask, when are you adding Whoop, you would just say, there it is. And I'm like, dude, fuck you.
It was like when Matt
When they were
Stone and Trey
on
Parker
acid
went
and
to
wearing dresses.
the Emmys.
Yeah.
They took a bunch of acid, yeah, and they were wearing dresses, and they're like, okay, like, the only thing we have to do is, we get too, like, paranoid when people are asking us questions, just say the weather's nice, and then there's, like, footage of them walking
Yeah,
around,
and they
like,
just walk
and
away.
somebody's talking to
Yeah,
us. Did you
exactly.
notice the
No,
weather's
but
nice?
I
And they would
really
just deflect.
appreciate it, because what are you going to stand in the crowd, or how are you going to stand out in a crowd? Like, do everything that everyone else is doing, or offer an alternative? But I think the alternative is so unique in that it's meeting everyone where they're at and allowing them to perform where they are, but still be encouraged to see other people doing stuff. Like, for me, hearing that story about the guy that's running for 28 hours straight, well, okay, if I just need to, if my lazy ass just needs to go do a mile or two today, like, I can do it because he's doing that. And I think I'm not expected to be at that level yet. Meet me where I'm at. Exactly. exactly right. So I
Your
really
your hustle's
appreciate
your
that.
hustle. Your sweat is your sweat. Yeah, like it's it's like it's a community, but it
That's
allows
right.
you to be
Not to be like
universal
the Planet
because that's
Fitness
the ultimate
model,
form of
you know,
motivation.
but kind of in a way it is, which is good. Planet Fitness is basically like, you know,
I don't
all
even
of
know
the
what's the
gym
what's the
hardos
model
are
of
not
Planet
welcome.
Fitness.
It's a little different. They've done like
Oh,
they have like an anti, yeah, the alarm
they're
goes
like
off
if
and
you
stuff.
yell in the gym, like you get like
Yeah.
a you have like a you have like
But
a
no.
yellow
So
card. Some
there was
referee
something
comes up.
else I wanted to talk to you about that was unrelated to Griff. I was really curious about your thoughts on it. I forget now. I literally, yeah, it was Robin Hood. So
So
what are your
Robin
thoughts
Hood,
on that?
perhaps
That
you mentioned
seems to be
Robin
a
Hood
hot
before.
topic.
Yeah, so it's 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 a huge win, and it's a huge victory, I think, for all of crypto, and uh, to be honest, all of TradFi as well. Like it creates a whole new design space for financial products. Um, Robinhood has a unique position where they could talk to both worlds. Like they talk to the hedge funds and pension funds and you just all the big players, the market makers, all the big players and institutional players of traditional finance. But then they also have they could turn around and they could talk to us. They talk to they partner with Arbitrum. They talk to Base and talk to other large L2 chains and other DApps, financial DApps. So I think we're in a unique place where we needed somebody like Robinhood to come in and and do something like this because nobody else is in their position, and nobody else could have pulled it off. So uh, my thoughts are that this is creating a brand new design space for financial assets. Putting equities on chain. You could already see it on
Indexy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what was the app? There's a mini app called Indexy in Indexy, yeah. I was floored. It was the guy already somebody already launched the mini app that's related. I think you still can't like buy the actual um underlying on-chain stock, but you can I forget what the limitation was with the mini app, but the fact that he already launched the mini app like instantly and ready to iterate as the news comes out, as the dev docs come out from Robinhood and Arbitrum or whatever chain it's going to be on, that's it right there. Like the builders are hungry and they're going to latch onto this and they're going to create some really awesome stuff. So I'm always excited for that. Like anybody any large company that creates a new design space that's open it's super. I'm super bullish on it. Similar to what Farcaster did with the social graph. Um, so yeah, man. His also Vlad's suit was like fucking. Did you see the video? The striped suit. Uh, to me, that suit scrammed that he didn't ask for permission for
That's right.
OpenAI or
No,
SpaceX
so here's
stock
the
to put it on
thing. I
chain.
I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm really glad you have this outlook on it. It's definitely encouraging, um, to tokenize equities and put them on chain and have the ability to trade 24/7 without the restrictions of the exchanges that we know in TradFi. I think that's super encouraging. It democratizes access for people all around the world to get exposure to those markets. All of that's super bullish. And in order for this industry to grow and scale out, you do have to have some of the traditional institutions adopt and also advocate. And I think that that's a huge thing. The only pushback I have on the matter is the actors that are involved. And this is an
Mhm.
unpopular opinion. I was the past couple of days on Farcaster
Yeah.
speaking, not even against it, but like, guys, wake up. Everyone, like, take a beat and then let's reflect on what's going on. Not 4 years ago, Vlad and Ken Griffin with the GameStop
Hmm.
and AMC saga, like, they were not acting on behalf of retail. And so the same person, because like let's think about what Web3 is, let's
Yeah.
think about what DeFi is. It is decentralizing finance, right? That is literally DeFi. So how do you decentralize it? You get the like conglomerates and the monopolies away from having the gatekeeping ability and truly allowing all people to use it, right? And it be a fair. So it feels like,
Yeah.
we are not protecting ourselves, and it's not. We're just giving new tools to the old powers, and that frightens me. It makes me apprehensive. I think it's necessary for this to scale, but simultaneously, I look at a guy like Vlad that was able to take away the buy button from GameStop. That fucking startles me a bit.
Yeah.
I think everyone blindly, like everyone is a generalization, but I think a lot of people are like so excited and need the wins for this thing to scale up. Totally agree. We do need some wins, and I do look at it as a
Right.
win on the short term. Long term, what are the effects and consequences of allowing those
Yeah.
very same people that screwed retail over? I mean, if you were in that AMC GME situation, you were on pace. You were doing it the right way. People that were learned to buy call options, learned how to sell puts, learned how to like play the options game, and they beat them and caught them sleeping. And then because they got caught sleeping, were able to pull the rug and halt trading and do all of these fucked up things. That's actually what made me really like stop trading equities. I got out of like traditional anything, like any
Yeah.
securities that were offered on traditional markets. I pulled out of, and I put all of my assets in crypto because of this very occurrence. So there's a little bit of a bias and vendetta against Robinhood specifically. Like I used to be a Robinhood user, I used to
Hmm. I
XYZ,
see.
but
Yeah.
now I'm like, dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
this very same guy that screwed retail over is now getting praise. Like I've got my concerns, but that is not like completely against what you were saying. I actually agree with you on 90% of what is being said. It's just like we're putting so much power in the hands of individuals, which is what we didn't want in the first place with Web3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you have, uh, and retail has every right to kind of have their hairs up, in the back of their necks, and just like be very cautious when it comes to Robinhood because of some previous acts. And yeah, it's it's it kind of just goes to the natural relationship of like an entity that has its own, um well, it's profit based, it has its shareholders. Like there's something that pulls them in a certain direction, like that their decision making. And a lot of times that's at odds with um things that would be good for retail or things that would be good for certain users. And that's not excusing it. Um it's just highlighting that a lot of times when we think about these actors, we try to like give them a face or a name, or like it's this guy or it's that guy. But in reality, it's really the structure of the incentives. Um, and I agree with you. Like there
and
needs to be
also
caution
and
should not be
also
thrown
it
to the
can't
wind.
also be directed at one
And what
individual.
would be
It's not like
really
I'm looking at Vlad being like, you're the only monster and you're this asshole. Like, dude, if I was in his shoes and I had the
yeah,
pressure of Ken Griffin breathing down my neck saying, if you don't fucking do this, like we're gonna
yeah,
have consequences, yeah, like I may buckle. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm this perfect like human that's got it all figured out by any means, but I hear you.
I remember when I was working at the RIA. They were calling us up like day after day and asking uh if we had any Robinhood shares to like lend them, because there was such short interest on Robinhood. It was like Robinhood hit like I think $4 or something. And, like it's at 90 now, but like um like a lot of like TradFi was against Robinhood back in the day. Um so like um but to go back to your point, like one thing that I'm curious about to see is like the deployment of the ERC-20 contracts, right? Like because when you deploy a contract, the code is visible, so you can analyze it. and you could see if there are any backdoors, or if they basically, you should pretty easily be see it should be pretty easy to see if they could blacklist like certain parts of certain tokens. Like if if they want to close the buy button or whatever version of that looks like. Um, and I think CT, Crypto Twitter or Farcaster,
Absolutely.
like people who are on it, they will be reviewing their smart contracts, and it'll be interesting to see like the threads that come out once they're
Me
deployed,
neither. But that's a
or
really good
maybe some
call
are
out
already
too, in
deployed. I'm
that
not like up to speed
I
exactly
think
on.
crypto, this is the difference that they may not be used to. Retail has gotten so much smarter over the past 5 years. And even so, like Robinhood, and I know I'm talking a lot of shit
Yeah,
right now, but let's go back. Like Robinhood changed the industry, the traditional finance industry, completely. The amount, especially for our generation and younger, prior to Robinhood, there was no outlet. There was Acorns, like that was a more common approach, but you couldn't individually purchase stocks like in that quick and
yeah,
seamless of a way with like an amazing user interface and experience. Like they didn't have that before. And I remember when Robinhood took off and people started paying attention, this is like 2018, 2019. I was like, okay, our industry, like, because at the time I was at Morgan Stanley, you were at an RIA. I'm like, what is the point of me? Because you
hmm
have the internet, you're able to do your own analysis, you're able to build your own portfolio. Like now with ChatGPT, like what is the point of a financial advisor today? You know what I mean? There's exactly. So
yeah.
I got to give a lot of
The
praise to
robo
Robinhood
advisors,
too.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's a this the decisions people make. Sometimes they're multifaceted, right? Like it's hard to kind of put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I think the rule that I try to like keep in my head is like, if there's both, if there's like more good, like can you see like good things evolving from these things. And I think like with the Robinhood Arbitrum announcement, like I do see that, because like we have Arbitrum, which the guys behind Arbitrum are fantastic. Stephen Goldfeder, who I've been close to for the last 2 to 3 years, and they've been hustling that partnership and behind the scenes for years. Like people are like, oh my God, where do Arbitrum go? Like to their kudos to them. They didn't go anywhere. They were just like working on their next big move. So I think it it's a huge win for crypto, like to have that come on chain via Orbit, which will be probably built in Rust, which is a more performative language. Um, uh, you know, so I'm excited. I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited for consumer crypto. That's kind of the space that I'm uh, personally growing right now, and with Griv. I think we're at a point where an app can
Yeah.
exist as an app, not as a DApp, not as a mini app, just a fucking app. And it's not on, there's no on chain, there's no crypto, there's no jargon. You're just using an app, and you're just using a regular app. All the payments, everything's abstracted away. At no point in the process are you, seeing that you're, anything related to crypto. And that's not to say that crypto isn't cool or blockchain isn't cool. It's just that like the user experience should not be bogged down by jargon or extra steps. And B, the reality is that crypto did create a PR nightmare for us founders. I mean, we were part of that as well, but like the average consumer, average user, when you say crypto, they shudder. Like I either lost money on it, or it's about like Bitcoin or whatever their perception of crypto is. So like when you say like on chain or crypto, and like, hey, by the way, like this social fitness app is running on crypto rails in the background, and it's tethered to the blockchain, or it uses some elements of USDC, which is connected to the blockchain, that helps it with distribution. Like, use crypto when your user experience is improved 10x. Don't use it as like a front facing selling point, which I think all consumer crypto builders are going to be forced into, because it's no longer like, besides maybe raising funds, it's no longer like a an attractive thing to say to your end
I
user.
agree.
So I think the world is healing. I think we're getting to a good place. I think design space is increasing, and we're going to see some really incredible
100%.
things
And I
come out of
appreciate the
crypto over the
context
next five
and
to 10 years.
perspective on this Robinhood Arbitrum partnership. I couldn't agree more, and it's really cool to hear your perspective, because I'm sitting here kind of fuming. Like, how are we able to, just trust this institution with what, like, I thought was supposed to be the place for retail, and then screwed us over 5 years later. They're coming back, but they're coming back in a big way. So I'm open minded, and
Yeah.
it's because of you, Igor. So I appreciate it. But no, I think that we're also. I try and keep these at like
No.
an hour. We've already gone over them. I just looked at time. But Igor, I appreciate you so much, man. Congratulations
Yeah.
on the launch and everything that's coming your way. Obviously, I'm on the app, so I'll be seeing you on there.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, for sure. See you more in the app, and I'm super excited for you as well with Startup Radar and the product that maybe most people don't know that you're working on. I firmly believe that it has the potential to become very big on Farcaster, because of what the things you and I spoke about, the two sides of, bunch of builders, like, capital, and like
I
having a
can't I
product in
can't
between
thank you
that.
enough, and I'm probably
I'm
going to
I'm super
be
excited for you.
calling you right after this, asking for help and questions and all the things in between. So, absolutely, likewise, man. Thank you so much for making the time.
I'm here for you. All right, Jeff.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.